Good evening and welcome back to the Rory Talks Football channel, your daily Arsenal news, updates, debates and my opinions. I am back. We've got reaction to Everton 0, Arsenal 1. We've got reaction to Arteta's craziness regarding our goalkeeper situation. Got an update on Gabriel Martinelli. And look, it's just good to be back. I've missed it. So lots to get into. Of course, we've got a very busy week. Champions League returns on Wednesday. I will be there and I am absolutely buzzing for it. I hope you are all very well. I hope you had a fantastic week last week. A great weekend. Enjoyed the win yesterday. And yeah, let's get into it. Loads of you back here. Leeds Gunner, Jake Madderford, Joshua, Beast Destroyer, Jakob Smithy. It's Jakey, Maddie, Bobby Boy, Holdini, TR2, Vord Wolfskin, Magnus, Francisco Oliveira. It is good to see all of you here. And yeah. I'm just happy to be back. I am happy to be back. How's the PC fund going? There's not, look, we'll get there. Do you know what? TikTok is beginning to pay a bit of money. TikTok's beginning to pay a bit more money, so we might get there soon. Abraham, Jack, and Leeds Gunner. Yeah, I had a good holiday, thank you. Very good holiday. Mexico is a wonderful place. Lots of wildlife, monkeys, and coatis, it turned out they were, which is like a cross between a... kind of like a raccoon with a monkey tail. There were lots of them in the hotel. Mohammed Janeed, thank you very much. Nice trim, thank you. I had it for the holiday. Why is Eddie starting? I think that was probably the last... Look, if you look at this week in isolation, if you take it Sunday to Sunday, we've got Everton, PSV in the Champions League, and the North London Derby next Sunday. Now... if you were to say Gabriel Jesus cannot start all three of those games, which he's not played more than 30 minutes of football in a single game since before his injury, since pre-season. If you were to say, okay, Jesus isn't going to be able to play all three of those games, which one do you not want him to start in? I think the Everton game would be the one that you wouldn't start him for. I think that's why we saw Nketiah start yesterday. I suspect we will see Jesus start against PSV, and I think he'll start against Spurs in the North London Derby as well. Did you meet any Mexican Gooners? I did. Actually, in my hotel, there was another creator who's an Arsenal fan as well. So that was a weird coincidence. But yeah, did I get a PSV ticket? I did get a PSV ticket. So I'm buzzing, absolutely buzzing for it. Cannot wait to be there. What did you think about Vieira's performance? I thought it was very good. I thought, I did worry about it, right? Don't get me wrong. I 100% believed that Fabio Vieira had earned the right to start a game. I just thought that particular game wasn't the one because of that midfield of Doucouré and Onana and Idrissa Gana Gueye. I thought that's a powerful midfield. And if there is a midfield that he's going to struggle against, it might be that one. But he proved me wrong. And I'm very happy that he did prove me wrong as well. Matt, I'm very good, thank you. And I did have a great holiday, yeah. I'm thinking that we have to start Jorginho against Spurs. Vieira was better than Kai, but that will be a really hard game. Interesting. Yeah, I actually had Jorginho down to start against Everton, but he didn't. So, been on the ticket exchange all morning. Can't get one. I'm a silver member and I've missed out the last 5 ballots. I'm fuming. The ticket exchange at the moment is disgusting. It keeps showing tickets that aren't actually available. It's far worse than last year. It's really problematic. Quickly on Martinelli's injury, really disappointing for Martinelli. Obviously scored the goal. We can argue whether the goal should have stood or not. Obviously it doesn't matter in the end, so I don't care massively about it. I think there's an issue with the rules and the way the rules are written that doesn't quite make sense. But Martinelli picked up an injury. It was a hamstring injury. So Arteta said after the game, he felt it in the action for the run for the goal. And normally he's not one of the players to have muscular issues, but he had to come off. So let's see. Now, the rumour is that it is a grade 1 hamstring pull. Now, that's normally around a 2-week recovery. Depending on where in the hamstring it is, it's normally around a 2-week recovery. So it's gutting for him that he's not going to start that first Champions League game on Wednesday night, which I just think the atmosphere and everything is going to be amazing. And he definitely kind of deserves to have started that game, but I don't think it's going to happen. And look, it's very unlucky. But fortunately for us, we have Trossard, we have Reece Nelson. The depth is there to replace him, so it's not as awful as it could have been. And I don't think that the hamstring injury is a bad one. He might miss the next 5 games from what I saw on Twitter. Yeah, but I mean, if it's 2 or 3 weeks, then playing twice a week at the moment means that would be 4 or 5 games. I look after Arsenal's email security, work for Mimecast, and have a meeting with their Group IT manager end of this week. We'll give him a spray about the awful balloting. Yeah, if you can tell him to. I mean, I don't know what he can do from email security, but if you can tell him to email a ticket through to RoryTalksFootball@gmail.com on a weekly basis, that would be much appreciated. Robin, a Spurs fan in the chat, says, I'm a Spurs fan. I'm so confident we beat you. Arsenal not convincing this season. Spurs have played amazing football. You are scared. Well, the final bit is factually incorrect. I'm not scared. And secondly, I would say that you are benefiting from what we benefited from at the start of last season. Teams come up against Spurs and they try and play football. They don't sit back, and you are carving teams open quite well. It's what we did a lot last season. But teams against Arsenal this season, much like they do against City, are massively sitting back. And when that starts happening to you, as it has done for us, you have to adjust. We're actually massively dominating our games. We're just not putting, games to bed by scoring lots of goals. And there are issues. We need to be more clinical. But let's not pretend that you weren't 1-0 down against Sheffield United in the 98th minute. I wouldn't say that's convincing. If you think that's convincing, then maybe you need to adjust your standards. Spurs coming with United energy twice in a row. Literally. I wanted to talk about this situation with the goalkeepers. I don't know if you saw it last night, but basically in the post-match press conference when Arteta was talking about Ramsdale and Raya, he alluded to not only believing that we don't have a first-choice keeper and that they will rotate between them, but that actually there have been times where he wants to substitute goalkeepers within games. That depending on the state of the game, he wishes that at times he had subbed off the goalie for another goalie. And it's crazy. It is crazy. Let's be honest. Other than for penalty shootouts, that is unheard of, to tactically substitute a goalkeeper. It's crazy. And look, I rate it. I rate the fact that he does not care. He does not care for tradition or for what is the standard. And he genuinely believes that keepers should not be treated any differently to outfield players. Now, I thought Raya was excellent yesterday. But I do think there's a bit of an overreaction in terms of how good Raya was based on the fact he didn't actually have to make a save. He came and collected the crosses very well, and his distribution was excellent, but he didn't have to make a save. So I'm reserving judgment a little bit just yet. But he had a fantastic game. And I think, what a position to be in to have both of them. Stick Ramsdale up front against Spurs, that will completely throw them. I said this on Twitter yesterday. If we're beating Spurs in the final minute, I would love him to sub Ramsdale on just to do a knee slide in front of the Spurs fans. It would be sensational. It's one of those in 10 years we either look at him as a proper odd bloke or a visionary. It's true. And the thing is, don't get me wrong, right? Arteta will try things that are unconventional, and some of them won't work. That's just how it will be. Some of the things that he'll try will not work. He'll be ridiculed for it. But I respect it. I do respect it. Matthew Potts says it has to be a bluff. I don't believe Arteta seriously would sub a goalkeeper mid-game. The only reason I just don't think it's a bluff is because I don't know why he'd bluff to that extent. Like, if he wants to protect Ramsdale, right, and if he wants to say, well, there is no first-choice keeper, he doesn't need to go to the extent of saying he would substitute goalkeepers within the game. He could just say, I'm going to rotate between the games depending on who the opponent is. So I don't know why he'd take the bluff that far, unless he genuinely believed it. George, fantastic holiday. Thank you very much. Good to see you back. Champions League final and Ramsdale comes on in the 89th minute. Yeah. We were talking about this as well. I don't know who gets the clean sheet. If you substitute the goalkeeper after an hour, who gets the clean sheet? If you keep a clean sheet. And if you do keep a clean sheet, if you don't keep a clean sheet, but the second goalkeeper loses it, does the first goalkeeper get a clean sheet? I don't know. I don't know how it works. Arteta was also asked about fine margins winning the game. He said, we work on everything. Every manager has to. When you prepare for the game, you have to try and expose the weaknesses of the opponent and hide yours. That's the outcome that we try and do, and the result came. Now, a massive meal has been made out of the length of time it took Arsenal to take our corner. It took 26 and a half seconds to take the corner. And I've never seen so much made out of something so insignificant and irrelevant. And I genuinely think, we're going to go into a game and we're going to take 25 seconds to take a corner and Saka's going to get booked. Like, that's going to happen because they've made such a big deal of it for no reason. I do not understand the reason that they've made a massive deal of how long we took, but it worked really well. And it was good because far too often, I feel like with set pieces, we've tried something, we've tried it again, it didn't work, and we haven't changed. And so, against Everton, they are a massive team. They're very good at defending traditional corners. They're very good at defending crosses into the box. We did try a thing early on where we tried a cross really deep to the back post, and Ashley Young turned around to the team and were like, we had 2 men unmarked at the back post there. And then they sorted that. And at that point, instead of continuing trying to do that, Arsenal basically just started playing short corners, and it worked really well. And I was happy that we did that because we've seen it before where Arsenal try and play a corner that they go really front post. They drill it into the front post and try and get a flick on. And it doesn't work the first 2 or 3 times, but we don't change. We just keep trying to do the same thing. And it's good to see that we didn't do that yesterday. And obviously, ultimately, that led to the goal, which was massive. Opta basically highlighted a Prem corner takes 33 seconds on average. Yeah, I mean, it's such an irrelevant thing. It's such an irrelevant thing. And if it hadn't led to a goal, it wouldn't have been analysed. If it hadn't led to a goal, they wouldn't have been going, at the end of the game, they wouldn't have been going, well, Arsenal were time wasting in the 70th minute by taking X amount of seconds to take a corner. Absolutely bizarre. Have you got tickets for Wednesday or Sunday? I do have tickets for Wednesday. I do not have tickets for Sunday yet. I am trying desperately to get tickets for the North London derby. If you have any spare, please do DM me because I am desperate. Rory, are you confident for the Spurs game or are you nervous? I'm confident. I am confident. I don't think Spurs have come up... Well, I know Spurs haven't come up against a team like us yet this season. It's a different challenge. You cannot play the expansive football that they've been playing against Arsenal. You can't. So they're going to have to adjust. Now, they might adjust well, but they might not. And I'm quite confident about the game. Where are you sat on Wednesday? I am sat lower clock end, but on the corner. Just around the corner, basically. This is the least worried I've been about a North London derby in a long time. I think we'll comfortably win. There you go. There you go. Confidence from Harry Pritchard. You love to see it. I like how we switched the corners up against United to overload the back post. Today's game completely different. Yeah, exactly. North London derby score predictions. 2-1 to Arsenal. 2-1 to Arsenal. Even though I think we'll completely outplay them. The only thing I worry about at the moment is that we are lacking a bit of clinicality. Is clinicality a word? Probably not. But we're not clinical enough. The best example yesterday, we're 1-0 up. We have a 5-on-2. Ødegaard breaks. He's got so many options. He's got Saka coming down the right-hand side. He's got Trossard. I think Jesus through the middle. And we didn't score from it. And that's an opportunity you have to score from. And look, we won the game. It didn't matter. But if Everton had scored in stoppage time, an equaliser, we'd have been looking at that going, that's shocking. So we do need to become more clinical. But other than that, we are dominating games. Like, teams are not creating chances against us, which is really good. Lineup for Wednesday. Now, for me, the lineup for Wednesday would actually be the exact same lineup that we saw yesterday, only Jesus for Nketiah. I'd keep Fabio Vieira in. No, sorry, it wouldn't. I'd bring Ramsdale back in for Raya. I don't care. I don't even care if you think Raya's the better goalkeeper. Ramsdale earned the Champions League night. 100%. Last season and the season before, Ramsdale earned Wednesday night, and he should get it. So I'd bring in Ramsdale for Raya, and I'd bring in Jesus for Nketiah, but otherwise I'd keep it the same. How was Mexico City? I'm going this Friday. So I wasn't in Mexico City. I was in a place called Riviera Maya, which is kind of between Cancun and Tulum, which is a long way from Mexico City. But the country, wonderful. Buzzing for the win yesterday, says Jacob. Absolutely. So if Rambo plays UCL, who plays on Sunday? I don't know. This is the thing. I genuinely don't know at this point. Rory, thoughts on some tacticos saying that Spurs are title contenders. Do you believe that? No, I don't. Spurs are benefiting from being a bit of an unknown. And they've come into the season and teams haven't worked them out yet. As soon as teams start working them out, I think they'll come undone. I think their squad depth is an issue as well. As soon as Romero or what's his name, Van de Ven gets injured, they're in trouble again. What time are you streaming till? I'm only streaming till past. I'm back on the football terrace. The top 6 show at 6 o'clock. So we're only here for another 15 minutes. None of you will like it, but I'd play Havertz up top on Wednesday with pace to change it from the bench if required. Interesting. Why do you not think Gabriel Jesus is the option? Because I think Jesus has to be the option. If nothing else, the experience of having a player that's played Champions League football. Not many players in our squad have actually played Champions League football. 5-a-side tonight? No, my ribs still not good. I've got a charity match or a charity tournament at the end of October, and I'm kind of targeting that as when I come back at this point, which is a nightmare. Joshua says, lovely, love watching you on the terrace. Good, I'm glad to be back on it. I appreciate that. Once Ange Postecoglou is figured out at Spurs, we'll peter out. I agree. Did you go to the doc about the rib? No, not since the first time. But there's nothing you can do. Like broken ribs, there's no way of making them heal. It's not like a broken arm or something like that where you can put a cast on it. There's literally you just have to wait, basically. And it's gone quite badly. Pep or Klopp, take into consideration Pep has done what he done with unlimited resources and only finished 1 point above Liverpool multiple times. Still Pep. I don't think Klopp would have done what Pep's done, even if you gave Klopp unlimited budget. In my opinion, I don't think he would have done. So there you go. Havertz has played Champions League football, but also the physicality up top. Control will interfere. Our first Champions League game in ages. Just think more control would be warranted to start. Fair enough. I think we'll win 3-0. PSV actually are not... I'll save this a bit for tomorrow's stream, because tomorrow's stream will kind of be the preview for it. PSV have started well. I was going to say PSV haven't started well. They have started very well. So PSV so far in the Eredivisie this season, played 4, won 4, scored 13, conceded 1. So they have started well. But look, we'll see what happens. Broken bruised ribs are a bit... Yeah, they are. It's a nightmare. It is a nightmare. PSV's new squad is good. Yeah, okay, maybe not 3-0. Maybe that was a bit dramatic. Maybe I got a bit carried away there. Maybe I did get a bit carried away there. I wanted to talk about Declan Rice yesterday. You know, the way he has hit the ground running and the way he has already learnt so much at Arsenal is outrageous. And when you look at any signing in the Premier League so far, Ibrahim, no worries, it's good to see you back as well. When you look at the £100 million plus signings that there have been in the Premier League, Declan Rice is the only one that's actually shown he's worth that value. It's scary for everyone else. Like, genuinely. He came in, and yesterday, with Fabio Vieira one side and Martin Odegaard the other side, who don't have any sort of big physical presence, he controlled that midfield against what we already said is a really powerful and athletic midfield in Idrissa Gana Gueye, Doucouré and Onana. And also, I'm already seeing like his passing, range of passing, the way he's fizzing it into people, the way that we now move the ball across the midfield. From Rice to Zinchenko to the other side, it's so much faster. It zips across. It drags the defenses across. It's so good. It's so good. And I do wonder what actually happens when Partey comes back. I do wonder what happens when Partey comes back. Proper flowers to everyone at the club for getting Declan Rice done. Yeah, I mean, it was huge. It was absolutely huge. It's J Key's lineup for tomorrow, for Wednesday would be interesting. Ramsdale, White, Saliba, Gabriel, Zinni, Rice, Vieira, Ødegaard, Saka, Smith Rowe, and Trossard. Very interesting. Very interesting indeed. Everyone underestimates Ben White. Oh my God, he was on it yesterday. Yeah, Ben White had a great game. I actually think I was a bit too critical. In my player ratings, I gave Ben White a 7. I think that was a bit harsh. I think he probably deserved an 8. He was very, very solid. Robin, you just said... What's Robin said now? Oh. Robin's now decided he's a Chelsea fan. So, yeah, interesting. When Partey comes back, does Rice get pushed into the 8 role or does Partey get benched? Well, this is what I'm interested to see. Because if Fabio Vieira continues playing the way that he is, and don't get it twisted, right? Mikel Arteta wants Fabio Vieira to work. 100% he does. And if Fabio Vieira continues to work, then I think a lot of the time, I think we'll continue to see Rice, Vieira, and Ødegaard. And maybe we see, Rice will need breaks from time to time. Playing 3 times a week, pretty much. He will need breaks. But it's difficult. It's difficult. I love this club so much right now. I remember horrible 8th back-to-back. I know. It does. It feels very, very good to be an Arsenal fan right now. And it's just exciting. I'm just so excited for the Champions League, honestly. So excited. I think Rice, Jorginho, Ødegaard will be the midfield versus Tottenham. Very possibly. It wouldn't surprise me. It's such a great dilemma. Oh, it's a fantastic problem to have. The fact that Thomas Partey is out for a fairly long period of time, previous seasons, that would have been a massive blow. Whereas this season, it's like, well, when he does come back, does he even start? That's fantastic. The update on Martinelli is it is a hamstring injury. It's not a serious hamstring injury. There's rumours that it's a grade 1, which tends to mean 2 to 3 weeks. So it's not going to be an awful one. And we have a lot of depth on that side. You've got Trossard, you've got Reece Nelson, you've even got Smith Rowe potentially. So, it's not a problem. Unbiased North London derby combined 11. Actually, in fact, one thing that no one's mentioned is you could even have Gabriel Jesus out on the left and start with Nketiah as well. Even though we got a so-called easy group, I still would have liked one big boy like Barca because the Emirates night would have been class. Still will be though. Yeah, but the thing is, we can still have those. We can get Barca. We will almost certainly get a Barca or a Bayern or whoever in the knockout stages at some point. So we'll have that night anyway. And I'd rather that came later in the tournament. Personally, do you think Saka will be rested for any of the next 2 games? No, Saka's not going to get rested in the Champions League or against Spurs. If Saka is rested at some point, it will be like Sheffield United. I think we play Sheffield United the week after. I think it'll be games like that where he gets rested, personally. Will you still support Arsenal when they inevitably move locations again? It's a bit of a weird thing to say, Luke. There's not a single person alive, genuinely, there's not a single person alive who witnessed the last time Arsenal moved. Arsenal have been in North London for 113 years. Odd comment. Anyway, it is time for Guess the Gooner, the game where I give you an ex or current Arsenal player's career path minus the Arsenal part of it, and you have to guess who that player is. Fastest fingers first in the chat for the immense pride and respect of the Rory Talks football community and the wider footballing community. If you're watching on TikTok, you want to get involved, the Instagram icon in my bio will take you to my YouTube. Get over there. Subscribe. Please do subscribe, by the way, if you're watching on YouTube. Massively appreciate it. We are trying to get to 6,000 subscribers. And let's get into it. So, This Guess the Gooner started their career at Blackburn Rovers. They went on loan to Southport. And they went to Brentford. Blackburn Rovers, Southport on loan, Brentford. Who is the player? Should be an easy one. It should be an easy one. And there we go. We've got the winner. We've got the winner, and it's the Shadow Claw 7. It is David Raya. It's David Raya. The Shadow Claw 7 was first. Chiano Muggsy was second. Jake Madaford was third. George Christodoulou was fourth. And Devin was fifth. Very easy one today. But it was on my mind. It was on my mind. So congratulations to the Shadow Claw for getting it correct. And guess the non-Gooner. Guess the non-Gooner. This is a player who does not and has not played for Arsenal. I give you their full career path, and you have to guess who it is. Jake Madaford said, here's a suggestion, maybe start using managers for Guess the Non-Gooner. I could do that, but I will confirm that today's one is a player. Today's Guess the Non-Gooner is a player. This player started their career at PSV Eindhoven. They went on loan to De Graafschap. They went on loan to AGOVV. They then went to Heerenveen. They went to Ajax. They went to Real Madrid. They went to AC Milan. They went to FC Schalke. They went to Ajax. And they went to FC Schalke. PSV, De Graafschap on loan. AGOVV on loan. Heerenveen, Ajax, Real Madrid, AC Milan, FC Schalke, Ajax, FC Schalke. And the first person to get it, I'm back, and Beast Destroyer is back as well. It is indeed Klaas-Jan Huntelaar, and Beast Destroyer got there first. George Christodoulou was second, 2 top 5s for George Christodoulou. Holdini Palace legend was third, Mustafa Rahimi was fourth, and Sanyal Willem was fifth. Congratulations to those of you that made it into the top 5. Congratulations to Beast Destroyer, one of our top players, for getting it correct first. And there you go, Klaas-Jan Huntelaar. What a career he had. What a career he had. You've done him before? I don't think I've done him before. I'm almost certain I've not done him before. Ariane says, love your streams. I'm in California, and your streams are from 8 till 9 a.m. on my way to school, being an Arsenal fan in the US since 2016. Massively appreciate that, Ariane. I was, that was the one thing I didn't like about Mexico. Not Mexico's fault, but the one thing I didn't like about Mexico was I was 6 hours behind, and I just didn't like it, really. It just makes things awkward. So I do rate everyone that lives in places where you're a long way off on time compared to everything that's happening here. Now that's a new one. Yeah, it was definitely a new one. I've definitely not done Klaas-Jan Huntelaar. Tawanda, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Look, that is going to be the end of the stream. Obviously, it was a short one. We'll have a longer one tomorrow. Probably go on to like an hour long tomorrow. The full preview for the PSV game, which I'm absolutely buzzing for. Like I said, please do subscribe. Smash a like on the video. I will be live in half an hour on the Football Terrace channel, the Top 6 show. Did I find the name of the raccoon? Yes, it's a Coati. C-O-A-T-I. It's a Coati. But look, thank you very much for watching. I'll catch you all tomorrow. If not, have a fantastic evening, and goodbye.